JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a series that is filled with some of the most broken abilities in all of anime, that being the stands that the characters possess. A stand is stated to be a manifestation of one's soul within the series, and let's just say these manifestations can get pretty overpowered, especially considering that a good handful of them have abilities that allow them to control certain aspects of time. No matter what the series is, even if it's anime or not, giving anybody in fiction a time-related ability automatically makes them one of the most powerful characters in their entire series, because time itself is ridiculously broken no matter how you look at it. And due to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures having several stands that allow the user to have a certain control over time, I decided that it would be fun to rank all the time related stands within the series. Now, before this video starts, I would just like to preface that I am strictly making this ranking based off of the stands themselves and how powerful they are. I am not including the users, so if I place a certain stand above another stand, it doesn't necessarily mean I believe that that user is more powerful than the previous user. This is just based off the stands and how powerful the stands are themselves. Anyways, with all that being said, let's get right into this ranking. Now, an honorable mention on this list is going to be Golden Experience Requiem, and the reason for this is not because Golden Experience Requiem is not as powerful as the other stands on this list, because obviously that is not true considering that it is arguably the most broken stand in the series. But the reason why it is an honorable mention and not on the actual list is because technically its ability isn't time related. Golden Experience Requiem's ability is cause and effect related. It affects casuality, which gives it the appearance that it is affecting time even though it directly isn't. So because it's not a direct time ability, I am not including it on the official list. Now, with us getting into the official list, coming at the number 5 spot for arguably the weakest time stand in all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures would be Mandom. Mandom makes its very first appearance in Part 7, Steel Ball Run, and it is the stand belonging to Ringo Road again. Mandom is a very simple stand when it comes to time-related abilities, simply granting Ringo the ability to reverse time by exactly 6 seconds. The best part about this stand is the fact that it doesn't really need any requirements in order to be activated. All Ringo simply has to do is turn a hand on his wristwatch, and then time will be reversed by exactly 6 seconds. However, the reason why Mandom is being ranked at the very bottom is simply because reversing time is not as powerful as the other time-related abilities on this list, and frankly, it's the least useful one. As we saw in Ringo's fight with Gyro, rewinding time is a very limited and restricting ability, and the other opponent, if smart enough, can take advantage over that and still beat you even though you have the advantage of time. Rewinding time by 6 seconds grants Ringo the ability to know what's coming, but unfortunately, even when you know what's coming, sometimes you can't avoid it at all. And because of that restriction, I'm gonna place Mandom at the number 5 spot, and I'm gonna put it as the weakest time-related stand in JoJo's. Coming at the number 4 spot, we have a huge jump in terms of power between Mandom and this next stand, and the stand at the number 4 spot is going to be Killer Queen's Bites the Dust. Killer Queen Bites the Dust is the stand of the main antagonist of JoJo's Part 4, that being Yoshikage Kira, and what this ability does is it allows Kira to create a temporal loop. Basically, anytime Kira's identity is revealed, either through speaking or through writing, a loop will occur, causing everything to reset to a certain moment in time before Kira's identity was actually revealed. It's pretty much a more powerful version of Mandom, considering that it's able to rewind time by about an hour to before Kira's identity was revealed. What makes this stand ridiculously broken though is the fact that it is completely automatic and independent of Yoshikage Kira. So Kira can go without even knowing that his identity was revealed, and Bites the Dust will activate regardless. However, as broken as the temporal loop actually is, the reason why Killer Queen is ranked at number 4 is due to just the amount of restrictions this stand has compared to other stands. I genuinely believe that Killer Queen Bites the Dust has more requirements to be activated than any other stand in the series. First of all, in order to be activated in the first place, somebody has to first reveal Yoshikage Kira's identity. If that doesn't happen, Bites the Dust will simply never activate because you can't manually activate the ability. Second, and the biggest reason why I'm ranking it so low, is because while Bites the Dust is active, while the condition is set, Yoshikage Kira cannot use his stand for any other abilities. He has to literally deactivate the conditions of Bites the Dust in order to be able to use any of his stand's abilities that he wants. He literally has to withdraw Bites the Dust in order to use any of his stand's other abilities. So while Bites the Dust is active, Yoshikage Kira is practically defenseless against any and all attacks, which is the main reason why I'm ranking it at number 4. Coming at number 3, we have a 3-way tie, and I'm sure many of you saw this coming, but this tie includes the World, Star Platinum, and the World Alternate Universe from Steel Ball Run. These 3 stands, all respectively belonging to different users, that being Dio Brando, Jotaro Kujo, and Diego Brando, possess the same exact ability, which is the ability to stop time. These stands are directly implied to be equals of one another, with 2 of these stands in this list being the same exact one, that being the World and the World Alternate Universe. We also know that each user with practice is able to stop time for longer amounts, so that's not dependent on the stand at all. Each stand, when practiced enough, can stop time for longer amounts, as we see throughout the story. So the fact that all 3 of these stands literally possess the same exact ability of time, it would be unfair to place one over the other, which is why I decided to have a 3-way tie between them in the 3rd place spot. Now, going into the 2nd place spot, this might be seen as controversial. Personally, I don't think it should be. The 2nd place spot for the 2nd most powerful time-related stand in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures is going to go to Diablo's King Crimson. King Crimson is the stand that belongs to the main villain of JoJo's Part 5, and the reason why I'm ranking it at the number 2 spot is because it comes with 2 time-related abilities instead of 1. The first ability I'm going to talk about is King Crimson's main ability, that being Time Erasure. Time Erasure basically allows King Crimson to skip forward a certain amount of time into the future, and the way this works is basically by erasing a certain action of the person's movement. To put it in simpler terms, let's look at it like this. Let's say we break down a punch into 3 steps. The first step is winding back the punch, the second is actually punching, and then the third is hitting your opponent with the punch. The way King Crimson's ability would work in that situation is that it would erase a certain step out of the process. So let's say in this scenario, it erases step 2, which was throwing the actual punch. So the person would wind the punch, and then the person would just automatically hit their target with the punch, without having any recollection whatsoever of throwing the actual punch, because it never happened due to King Crimson erasing that certain moment of time. Now, the downside of Time Erasure is the fact that Diablo cannot attack his opponents while Time Erasure is activated. However, he uses Time Erasure in order to get behind his opponent's blind spot and then attack them the second that Time Erasure ends. Diablo's second ability, which is his sub-ability, is a stand that is known as Epitaph. Epitaph allows Diablo to see about 10 seconds into the future in order to avoid oncoming threats or attacks. So the fact that Diablo's King Crimson has 2 time-related abilities and technically has 2 stands related to time makes it so that King Crimson automatically places itself into the number 2 spot. Now, coming at the number 1 spot for the most broken time-related stand in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, I'm sure to none of your guys' surprise, is Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven belongs to the main villain of JoJo's Part 6, and now that I'm making this video, I'm realizing that almost every time-related stand in JoJo's belongs to the villains. But anyways, Made in Heaven allows Enrico Pucci to accelerate time. And even though on paper this might not seem like a broken ability, this is by far the most destructive ability we have ever seen in JoJo's, considering the fact that once time is accelerated fast enough, the entire universe resets. With time acceleration, Made in Heaven is also capable of reaching infinite speeds, which not only makes it one of the most broken time stands in JoJo's, but makes it one of the most broken stands overall. So Made in Heaven's insane destructive potential, along with its insane speed, easily makes it the most powerful time stand in all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Anyways, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see in the future. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.